Good morning, eighth graders. I hope everybody is doing well today. Happy Little Friday. It's almost the weekend. Just got a couple more things to do this week. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Our book talk today is called Educated by Tara Westover. I read this book, I think, last year. It was one of the best books I have ever read. It is a memoir, which means it's like an autobiography from a certain period of someone's life. So it's a true story, nonfiction, and it's about this girl who grew up in a family of survivalists, and that means that they, are dependent only upon themselves in Idaho. Her family did not believe in school, so she never went to school. They did not believe in doctors or modern medicine, so she never went to the doctor or the nurse or the dentist or anything like that. So anyway, even when there's a few like crazy accidents that happened in her family and stuff like that, and they all did like self-healing and natural healing remedies and things like that. So anyway, the story goes on. One of her brothers actually leaves the homestead and goes to college, and he comes back and tells her about it, which then inspires her to go to college. So she's never been to school in her life. She had to teach herself math, teach herself grammar to pass the ACT, which is like the SAT, and get into college. And so it's just about her journey doing that. It's pretty crazy. It is a mature book. There's some language in it for sure. It's actually an adult book. So you need to be a pretty strong reader, I think, to appreciate it at this time. But it is just a super interesting, good book. To me, it's always just amazing to see how other people live their lives. And it's a really good one for that. I love memoirs. So anyway, also I want to remind you this area down here, Tuesday is the last day to order books from the book order. So please take a look. Know that you're helping our class if you do purchase something, and that with each item you purchase, you will get your name entered into a raffle. And again, the new I Survived book is in there, which is the California Wildfires, New Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Then there's Rowley's book, is Diary of a Super Friendly Kid. Lots of good stuff. Okay, so today, here we are. It's Thursday. We're going to talk, the article we're going to read today is Where I Find My Heroes by Oliver Stone. I'm going to go over one more time, one more time today, our outline or our overall idea of what our essay is going to look like. So you can continue to have that in the back of your mind when you are thinking about your own personal definition of a hero. So what makes a hero? Okay, and this is, again, you're going to decide for yourself. A hero is someone we look up to or admire because of his or her qualities or achievements. He or she are individuals who emerge to perform great deeds or challenge our view of the world. A hero can be someone close to us, such as a relative, a friend, or a neighbor. They may also include those in history or stars of today, athletes, actors, musicians, and artists. They can include ordinary people who were put in extraordinary circumstances and behaved heroically. A hero could include people who may lead their lives quietly helping others. Okay, and so then for your essay, again, this is what it's going to look like. The title of the assignment is Definition Hero Essay. In this assignment, you will write a 3-paragraph essay with an introduction and a controlling thesis that leads to 2 paragraphs of people you believe to be heroes. Use the following information to help guide you in what needs to be in the paragraphs. So paragraph 1 is the introduction. Define hero in your own words, and if you choose, what a hero is not. And again, that is called definition by negation. Also write to what characteristics or qualities you and or people you value most, or people value most in a hero. End the paragraph with a controlling thesis to drive your next 2 paragraphs. And again, if you're confused about the controlling thesis or don't really know what that is, do not worry about it. I'm going to teach you that. Okay, and then your paragraphs 2 and 3 are pretty much the same. For paragraph 2, you will give your first example of a hero. Be sure to detail 2 to 3 reasons why you deem this person a hero. If applicable, provide quotes and also include explanation of your analysis. Don't forget the concluding sentence. Again, paragraph 3 is the same, and then you're done. No need for a conclusion. So these are the resources that we have used this week, okay? Hopefully you have read at least these 2 articles twice, watch the video. Today we're going to read this article, and I should be able to open it there. Okay, of course you cannot open it from my video because it is a video. You can follow along here, or you can, but it would be, you can't actually, because for your first read, you need to read it on your own. So you'll need to go to the weekly planner or the slide deck for today, which you can find in the weekly planner, and read this article first yourself. Again, if you've printed it out, you can highlight it, annotate it, make notes in the margins. If you are not printing it out, please take notes on the second read when I'm reading. You're going to make notes in your notebook. So go ahead and push pause on me right now and read it to yourself first. For the second reading, I will be reading it aloud while you follow along and take notes. So push pause on me, read it. All right, so now I am going, you should have read it already once by yourself. Now I am going to read. As I read, you're either following along, annotating, taking notes on your paper, or you're taking notes in your notebook. Okay. Where I Find My Heroes by Oliver Stone. This is an older article. It is timeless, though. So Oliver Stone became a movie director after serving in the Vietnam War. His films have explored critical subjects such as the Vietnam War and President Kennedy's assassination. And so here we go. It is not true that there are no heroes anymore, but it is true that my own concept of heroism has changed radically over time. When I was young, I read the Random House biographies. My heroes were always people like George Washington and General Custer and Abraham Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt. Men, generally, and doers. Women, with the exception of Clara Barton, Florence Nightingale, and Joan of Arc, got a short shrift. Most history was oriented towards male heroes. But as I've gotten older, and since I've been to war, I've been forced to re-examine the nature of life and heroism. What is true and what are the myths? The simple acts of heroism are often overlooked. That's very clear to me, not only in war, but in peace. I'm not debunking all of history. Crossing the Delaware was a magnificent action. But I'm saying that I think the meaning of heroism has a lot to do with evolving into a higher human being. I came into contact with it when I worked for Ron Kovic, the paraplegic Vietnam vet, on Born in the 4th of July. I was impressed by his life change from a patriotic and strong-willed athlete to someone who had to deal with the total surrender of his body, who grew into a nonviolent and peaceful advocate of change in the Martin Luther King Jr. and the Gandhi tradition. So heroism is tied to an evolution of consciousness. Since the war, I've had children, and I'm wrestling now with the everyday problems of trying to share my knowledge with them without overwhelming them. It's difficult to be a father, to be a mother, and I think that to be a kind and loving parent is an act of heroism. So there you go. Heroes are everyday common people. Most of what they do goes unheralded, unappreciated. And that, ironically, is heroism, not to be recognized. Who is a hero? Scientists who spend years of their lives trying to find cures for diseases, the teenager who says no to crack, the inner city kid who works at McDonald's instead of selling drugs, the kid who stands alone instead of joining a gang, which would give him an instant identity, the celebrity who remains modest and treats others with respect, or who uses his position to help society. The student who defers the immediate pleasure of making money and finishes college or high school. People who take risks despite fears. People in wheelchairs who don't give up. We have a lot of corruption in our society, but we mustn't assume that everything is always basely motivated. We should allow for the heroic impulse, which is to be greater than oneself, to try to find another version of oneself, to grow. That's where virtue comes from. And we must allow our young generation to strive for virtue instead of ridiculing it. Okay, so that is our article for today. Tomorrow, we're going to kind of put these all together and do a few short, quick write note-taking sessions. And then on Monday, we will begin to write our essay. Okay, so that's that. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.